In this video, we're gonna have a more in-depth analysis of SS Giovanni and Nidoking. So he's a Poké Fair coming very soon. He's a ground type striker psychic. For stats, he has good attack and HP, but a bit low defense. Speed is okay. So he has 3 attacking moves, all of them are 4 gauge. And his Mega Kick hits incredibly hard. It hits as hard as a Sing move, 250 to 300 DP, which is very high. He has Iron Tail and Poison Jab, Steel and Poison type DPS as well, which is cool. So for his trainer move, Word of Pain, it's 1 use with plus 6 attack. You apply crit next and apply super effective up next effect, which is pretty good. And he has something that's great that can ensure critical hit every time you hit, which is cool. He also has Dynamax, which is really good as well. Right, he just does a lot of damage, honestly. He's very strong. Max Quake, Max Steel Spike, and Max Ooze. Max Quake and Max Steel Spike are quite useful because you plus 2 special defense and defense plus 2. Nice. Max Ooze is, I mean, you can do poison damage obviously, but like you only plus 2 special attack, which is useless for him because he uses all physical moves. For his passive is good. Giovanni's Cunning. He changes normal type moves to ground type moves, which is good. So Mega Kick becomes a ground type move. And then moves never miss as well. So Iron Tail and Mega Kick always hits. Right, basically ground shift and piercing gaze in one passive. Very strong. Max double down 5. This passive is really good. It's about like a 50% damage boost to his max moves that are super effective, which means that his max move is gonna hit really hard. Third passive, hit against 5. This is also a really good passive. You basically get 1 gauge for your moves, right? Mega Kick 4 gauge, everything 4 gauge. You get 1 gauge extra, but in return you get 50% more DP, which is great. Now overall, 1 out of 5, he's pretty good, right? He can do good ground and steel DPS at 1 out of 5. Poison DPS at 1 out of 5 is a bit weak. I don't recommend pulling for him 1 out of 5 just for poison damage. That is not good. And I think I guess 2 weakness would be speed. His speed is low, especially for a 4 gauge user. His defense and special defense also kinda speed on the low side. So I'll make sure to bring some speed and defense or special defense buffer. So for his greed 1 out of 5, he has some stuff, I guess. He has some power up, Antitoxin, Sand Shelter, is strong. Some MGR for Iron Tail and Poison Jab, cool, but doesn't really add much to his like DPS or something, right? So 1 out of 5 is okay. He still hits hard with Mega Kick and Iron Tail. It's pretty good damage. And 2 out of 5 you get MGR for Mega Kick, Super Duper Effective 2, which is nice. Max Super Preparation, which can be useful, right? To apply Super Effective up next after you use a max move. Surging Sand 2, not bad I guess. He also has Sand Shelter to, like pair up. And Sense of Time 2 as well. You can run him with Sand and do some damage, extra damage and faster speed I guess. You have Poison Jab, Super Duper Effective 3, which is cool. But the sad thing about Poison Jab compared to these two is that Poison Jab has lower BP compared to Mega Kick and Iron Tail, which is also why Poison Jab has the highest number of multipliers compared to like Mega Kick or Iron Tail, right? Like Poison Jab has 2 more here, Furious Brawn and Super Duper Effective 3 to like compromise it, right? Which is why I said 1 out of 5 DPS for Poison Jab is weaker, because there's not really a lot of multipliers for the damage. Then we also have Double Dome 3, which is cool. You get some sync damage, but it's not really a lot, right? Haymaker is 3 out of 5, so if one nuke, you need 2 out of 5. On the roll, 1 for Iron Tail, it's fine I guess. 2 out of 5, you have Max Quake, pretty good. Critical Crit 9, this is really good, right? This is really good because you can choose not to bring any like offensive supports, right? You can max out his own attack, you can crit next, and then once you use the train move once and then use any one of the move, you're gonna hit crit every single time, which is very good. You also get Rejuvenate 6, can be useful, right? Since we all know he's slow. I mean, not slow, his speed is okay, but like he uses 4 gauge move, very costly. This might be good to have. Haymaker, really good. If you plan to nuke with him, this is good to take. If you no need to take this, just take some like power up stuff. Furious Brawn, this is pretty good for poison DPS, right? If you use it for poison weak, this works. You need to get to plus 6 attack, which is easy to do. You have the trainer move, right? So that's good. Max Ooze, very nice, more damage. You have Super Sinker, applies super effective up next effect to the user. which is nice, right? I guess it's nice. Only one use, but can be useful, I guess. Max Steel Spike, very nice as well for some damage. So let me show you guys 3 builds I've made. All of them involves critical crit 9. So if you don't plan to bring this, you can sacrifice this, take something else. So the first one is for ground nuke and ground DPS. You have Haymaker, Surging Sun 2, critical crit 9, super effective 2, double down 3, right? Like I said, if you don't plan critical crit 9, you can just sacrifice this. You can take like power ups. Second build is for Iron Tail, also critical crit 9 again. If you plan to bring crit support, don't need this. Just sacrifice this and take something else, like Iron Tail power or something. You also have max super preparation thing to apply super effective on X after using the Dynamax move, right? Like max steel spike. Since this build is for steel weak, right? Like this one, you have 100 extra BP. This is very strong, very strong. You also have Iron Tail to access this. Since you're doing steel weak stages, you're probably gonna use Dynamax max steel spike, right? For the damage. You also have Poison Jab for Poison DPS with super duper effective 3, Furious Brawn and Max Ooze. Poison damage can do decent damage with these two. Pretty good damage actually. You can even Dynamax with Max Ooze for some even more damage. You can most likely OHKO any one of the Champion Stadium, like sides or mid, whatever. Hits hard, 540 VP is insane. On top of that, you have the max double down 5, it's insane. I think 27k damage or something like that for all 3 of this, which is very strong. His max move hits harder than his nuke. So time it well, you're gonna win a lot of stages with that. Let's compare ground nuke between Giovanni and Nidoking, Maxi Groudon and Cynthia Garchomp. This is the grid I'll be using for the damage calculation. We have this build which I showed just now, Haymaker, double down 3 for the nuke damage, right? Then Maxi we have Solar Flare 5 and Super Sun 4 and 2 Sing move tiles. Cynthia has no multiplier, which is a bit sad, which really hurts her sync, which I will show now. You can see Cynthia's damage is it's sad. There's just no multiplier, which is just sad. Giovanni does the most with 21.7k, a bit more than Maxi. He has Haymaker, easy to set up, just use random move. Double down 3, you don't even need to set up, just use him for ground weak stages. For Maxi, your Home Pride for the Master passive. If assuming Maxi is the only Hoenn sync pair, this damage can increase with like 2 Hoenn teammates, right? We also have Solar Flare 5, which is quite easy to set up. You just, Maxi can summon Sun. But this is not the max damage Maxi can do. He has super effective up next, right? With the passive just now, the Super Sun 4 thing. So his sneak is the highest, assuming it triggers right before you sync. Now let's compare DPS with Maxi again, but this time we replace Cynthia with Serena. Let's compare Giovanni with 2 Master Fairs. Let's see how well he does. So same grid for Maxi and Giovanni. Serena we have 4 for stage 1, super duper effective 2 for the ground DPS, 1000 waves, right? So as you can see, Serena does the most. So Giovanni is not that far behind, honestly. His damage is good, almost the same as a Master Fair. Higher than Maxi without super effective up next. But for Giovanni, you do need Surging Sun too, so you need Sand, right? For the extra like 20%. Super duper effective too, easy to set up. Both Maxi and Serena are Master Fair, so they have the Master passive, Horn Pride and Kailux Flag Bearer. So for Maxi, he has Solar Surge 3, you need Sun, super duper effective 1 as well. Serena has Power Hold 5, Hold stage 1 and super duper effective 2. You do need to restrain Serena, which is very easy to do. 1000 waves can easily restrain. But this is not the max damage Maxi can do again with super duper effective on next effect, right? He does the most damage, assuming again super effective on next, so like 50% chance, right? When you use the buff under the sun. So yeah, honestly, Giovanni's damage is not that far behind. His damage is very good. Now let's compare Steel DPS with Raihan and Gloria. I chose Gloria because her banner is coming soon, so that might, give you an idea how good she is, or if you wanna like summon her or something. So for Giovanni, this grid, super duper effective 2, and then I guess that's pretty much it, honestly. Do remember that Giovanni can Dynamax, so that's like a free sync move to use whenever you want. Raihan has Tough Cookie, 7+5, Surging Sun 3, with this grid. Gloria has sadly no multiplier in the grid for Behemoth Blade. So this is the damage. Raihan does the most by quite a big amount, like 40% more than Giovanni, quite a lot. So if you have Raihan, Giovanni only has Super Duper Effective 2 for the multiplier. Raihan has 2, Searching Sentry, you do need Sand, Tough Cookie plus 6 defense, which is kind of difficult to do. You do have the Stoic 2 passive, 20% chance to plus 1 defense when you use a move. It's not really consistent, so you need defense support. You also need crit support. You also need special attack support. I mean, you can plus 4 special attacks, so that is fine. But you cannot like max the special attack, you need like another support. Defense, you definitely need defense support. And Raihan has the lowest speed among these two, so the 4 gauge move is gonna hurt his like speed. He's gonna eat up a lot of gauge. Gloria has no multiplier, sadly, but she does have the innate effect in the move, right? Which is the Sync buff, which is a 50% damage increase. So with that, she out damages Giovanni by like 10%. So that's fine, that is still fine. And the enemy sync buff, it really depends. If you're playing Shaman Stadium pre-sync, right, meaning you before your opponent sync, then this is pretty useless. If it's like Legendary Arena where your enemy is gonna sync quite often, this is good. And Regirock is coming very soon, so she's gonna be quite useful against Regirock. Let's compare Poison DPS, and sadly, only Plumeria. I mean, I can include Koga, but like, Koga is more of a nuker than a DPS, so just gonna compare against Plumeria. So with this grid for Giovanni, Super Duper Effective 3 and Furious Brawn, Plumeria has Toxic Power 3. So this is the damage. Giovanni does pretty good damage with Poison Jab, quite a lot more than Plumeria. Remember, but it's 4 gauge versus 3 gauge, so I'll convert that to per gauge later on. But yeah, he has Super Duper Effective 2 and 3 and Furious Brawn, all of them very easy setup. Plumeria, you need to poison for Toxic Power 3. She does have Super Duper Effective 2 in the passive, so that's cool. But if you convert it to per gauge, well, it's Giovanni still hits harder. So yeah, Giovanni, Poison DPS, you can go for that, but again, 3 out of 5 only, because that's when you get like Furious Brawn. You get Super Duper Effective 3 at 2 out of 5. If you want Poison DPS and you only aim at 1 out of 5, no, just don't do that. 3 out of 5 Plumeria does more damage than 1 out of 5 Giovanni. So yeah, don't pull for him just for DPS, Poison DPS at 1 out of 5. Okay, that's my advice. So should you summon Giovanni and Nidoking? Well, yes and no again. He is strong ground DPS. He can also nuke with ground as well. Can cover steel and poison type, which is cool. He has Dynamax option for even more damage, right? No, if you already have ground steel DPS, right? You already have some ground steel DPS. Poison DPS, you only have Plumeria. So it really depends if you really want him. And we're also very likely to get a Johto Master Fair very soon. Maybe like Lugia with someone, right? Maybe you want to save your gems for that, or just wait for the data mine that's coming in like 2 weeks. If you do summon him, what move level should you aim? Either 1 out of 5 or 3 out of 5. 1 out of 5 you just want a good ground and steel DPS user. Poison DPS, okay, but don't go 1 out of 5. Again, I say like 3 times already. Don't go for him just for Poison DPS at 1 out of 5. Don't do that. Okay, if you want Poison DPS, go 3 out of 5. And 3 out of 5 you also get ground nuke, which is nice. And like even more damage for max move as well. So overall, he is very strong, but do be cautious of your gems. I can smell the Master Fair coming. I won't be surprised if you're getting 2 Master Fairs in 2 weeks.